Parenting is absolutely 50-50. The only time it is 75-25 is when you are carrying the baby and when you are birthing it, because obviously your significant other cannot do that. After that, though, you did not get pregnant by yourself, so we are in this together. Even when, I was in a space where I was solely co-parenting with my husband, he honestly did everything I did except breastfeed. At that point, it was probably 60-40. 60 on my end, 40 on his end. But if he could, it would have been 50-50. And I think I'm always baffled by, or almost slightly offended by, when I have people like my grandmother who'll be like, "Oh, girl, you got a good man. He do this, that." He's supposed to do that. He's their father. At the same time, I would be very naive to think that, people do that, whether it doesn't even matter what your race is. I think, traditionally and, just, age-wise, we do still very much struggle with gender roles and what it's supposed to look like. And so, I think I'm excited about the millennial generation, where I feel like fathers are excited about baby carrying. Fathers are excited about, doing things with their children. Not to say that they weren't before, but it isn't considered so feminine that they didn't do it, or, that the mother has to pretty much do everything. I don't know how I would have survived if that's how the setup was. He literally did everything to the point where it was annoying. At one point he told me when I was breastfeeding I had the wrong position just because he went to the class, and I just gave birth, and I didn't want to hear that. But he was right. So again, it was all about, being that partner of just like, baby, let me just try to help you. You need that. And I think, for, individuals, men who grew up, because you do have to be very sensitive to what people grew up with. That's what they're going to mimic in the home. If they grew up with, seeing their mom literally doing everything, especially in I would say the African American culture, where, if there were a lot of single moms, they are used to women doing everything. It's to the point where we as women are so programmed, because again, if you were a single mother, you taught your daughter how to be independent. So when it came to, getting into relationships, very much you have this silico thing happening where, we are independent and don't really know how to not be independent. And men don't know how to not expect us to be independent because that's what they saw growing up with their mother. So it's, it's almost a reprogramming. I grew up with my mother, father, and grandmother. And my father not always being with my mom, but he didn't have a father. His father died maybe 2 days before he was born. So he was used to seeing my grandmother literally do everything. But my grandmother also taught him to be very self-sufficient. Like, he knew how to cook, how to clean. So in his mind, he never really needed a woman. My mother, she can kind of do both, because there were times when she had to. That all being said, is I grew up knowing that, if I'm having a child with someone, and, sometimes we're lucky enough to pick, sometimes we're not. If I'm having a child with you, like, you're going to do 50% of this work. I expect that of you. If not, I'm garnishing your wages either way, so I'm getting 50% of something. So that all being said is, I think that it's hard, because you're dealing with years of history, years of tradition of what people are born into. But if you're lucky, and I've been very lucky to, just really have a partner who, like, supports me in that regard. And I support him too, because, my grandma, she makes me mad when she's like, girl, he better. What else he gonna do? Like, what type of world he think he living in where it's gonna be different? So again, you have to set those expectations for yourself, but I think parenting should always be 50-50. And I think if you work it that way, your children grow up that way. And so that way it also becomes continuous to them, because that's what they know, that's what they see, that's what they expect.